December 16th, 2013. Now, for the next couple of weeks, we're going over a report generated by an organization called Medscape, which is kind of like an MD, allopathic, reductionistic, pharmaceutical centrist watchdog that looks at trends that are happening in medicine and then reports on them. And my whole point here is that when you look at what the MDs are saying and doing amongst themselves, often it shines a light on what I've been saying forever now, that MD-directed medicine is based on an old-fashioned, outdated, archaic, to be redundant, that from the Department of Redundancy Department, methodology, a philosophy of science which is incompatible with the reality of living and breathing as a human being. The Year in Medicine 2013, news that made a difference from Medscape. The next article we're going to talk about is the DSM. That's a shorthand for the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. And I quote, "After more than a decade of development and more than 2 years of frequently searing controversy, the fifth and latest edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, otherwise known as the DSM-5, was finally released. Some say that a key change is that expanded diagnostic criteria are based more on consensus rather than on objective laboratory measures. Some are concerned that the DSM-5 will result in the mislabeling of potentially millions of people who are basically normal, but according to the new criteria set forth in the latest publication of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, which is the textbook of psychiatry. This is what your psychiatrist uses to tell the world whether you're crazy or not, right? So now that there's lots of wiggle room in the latest edition of this book, so that it's much, much easier for your general practitioner and or a psychiatrist to label you as crazy, even if you're normal. I continue. Again, I quote, "This would turn our current diagnostic inflation into hyperinflation and exacerbate the excessive use of medication in the worried well," said Alan Francis, MD, chair of the DSM-4 task force and one of the new manual's staunchest critics. He advises physicians to use the new version, the DSM-5, cautiously, if at all, and I end quote. So again, there's a couple of interesting things to talk about in this. The whole thing is interesting, but let me read you the more poignant sentences again. I quote, "Some are concerned that the DSM-5 will result in the mislabeling of potentially millions of people who are basically normal. This would turn our current diagnostic inflation into hyperinflation and exacerbate the use of medication in the worried well," and I end quote. The worried well is a term that MDs use to describe people who are, they're a little depressed, they're a little anxious, they're a little worried. They're not nuts. They're just, having trouble because life is hard. And now, because of the new criteria that are set forth by the great overseeing, all-powerful MDs, we want to talk about arrogance, talk about any psychiatrist. Did you know that your psychiatrist believes that consciousness is a function of biochemistry? And that once you're dead, you're done? That your existence is a function of biochemistry? And therefore, when you're having trouble with your existence, with your mental state, with your psychological state, your only option is to let the psychiatrist dump man-made synthetic drugs into your body, the intention of which is to orchestrate a hostile takeover and alter your mood chemically. This is what the MD psychiatrist is trained, that consciousness is a function of biochemistry. They've really thrown the baby out with the bathwater there. But what's going to happen here, they did the same thing with obesity, by the way. Obesity is now a disease. So you're going to not be able to see any more Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers testimonials on TV. You're not going to be able to give testimonials about weight loss anymore because you can't give a testimonial about a disease. You can't. That's illegal. You can't do it. You can have testimonials about teeth whitening, and you can have testimonials about hair growth and, the hair plugs, and you can have testimonials about any type of cosmetic dentistry or any type of cosmetic surgery, but you can't have a testimonial about what you did to recover from high blood pressure or arthritis or type 2 diabetes or anything that's considered a medical condition, because the Food and Drug Administration wants to keep a lock on knowledge. They don't want you to know what we can do with medical nutrition for high blood pressure. They don't want you to know what we can do with medical nutrition for any chronic disease. They don't. So they don't allow testimonials. So the testimonials for weight loss clinics are all going to go bye-bye, because the MDs have incorporated obesity now as a disease. They're calling it a disease, which is going to be, good for the pharmaceutical companies, because now all of a sudden it will be okay for medical doctors to medicate and do all kinds of needless surgeries, lap bands and gastric bypasses on people who are overweight, because now it's a disease. Well, they're doing the same thing with mental disorders. And now they've really increased the boundaries of the exclusions and the criteria around which you can be considered to have a legitimate psychiatric problem. So beware the MD, especially the psychiatrist. And, this is what our caller in the previous hour was talking about. She visits the doctor and she's got a problem and the doctors can't fix it, and she continues to complain about it, and so they call her nuts. They do this all the time. Can't be the doctor's fault. Can't be the doctor's fault. The patient must be making it up. A doctor's given every treatment in the book for this particular diagnosis and there's no improvement. Well, then you must be lying, or you must be making it up, or you must be delusional. This is how they think, and this is what we let them get away with. And now it's going to be even more of a problem, because the psychiatric medicine, of course, is upheld by the courts. So if your psychiatrist tells the state that you're nuts, whether you're nuts or not. This is the beginning of the end for those of us on the fringe, because it's only a matter of time until we start getting labeled as, having mental disorders. You wait, it's coming. People on the fringe, people who are going against the grain, people who are offering different ideas about what's really going on, it's only a matter of time until we are all labeled as crazy. And now they have a textbook, a diagnostic textbook, to support all of that nonsense. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and this is what happens when you let your guard down, society, and you let any aspect of society become monopolized by one group. We do not have a free medical market in the not-so-free world. We do not. We do not have equal access to different medical philosophies. We do not. The only medicine practiced in your hospital is MD-directed medicine. The only medicine they make TV shows about is MD-directed medicine. And whenever they talk about alternative medicine, quote-unquote, and I hate that term, it's always done disparagingly. The only medicine that your insurance pays for is MD-directed medicine. The only medicine legally allowed to be practiced in 36 states in the United States is MD-directed medicine. The only medicine that they give research money to is MD-directed medicine. The only medicine that your universities are given grants to pursue knowledge and education and increase the frontiers of is pharmaceutical medicine. They're not given, vitamin companies don't give research institutions, universities money for research, and if they did, there is not enough. You can't compete with the pharmaceutical industry. So it's MD-directed medicine all of the time. All around the world, it's a monopoly. It is not a free medical market. And when any aspect of society is monopolized, it's only a matter of time before corruption shows its dirty, ugly head. I mean, isn't enough already? Now they have to start widening the diagnostic criteria about who's crazy and who's not. I mean, is that going to be the tipping point for society? Or what about the fact that MD-directed medical treatments are the leading cause of death? Well, you would have thought that would have been the tipping point. Or, the leading cause of bankruptcy. You would have thought that would have been the tipping point. Or the fact that now Pfizer Pharmaceutical has been deemed too big to jail. Too big to jail. So even when they defraud doctors, and even when they develop drugs and get doctors to take them through erroneous information, they just get fined. Nobody goes to jail. There's no penalties that are severe enough to keep them from doing it again because they're a monopoly. And they can do whatever they want to do. James Bond, he has a license to kill, right? 00. He's a license to kill. Well, so does your medical doctor. Your MD has a license to kill. I'm not saying they kill people on purpose, but they kill people, and nobody goes to jail. And we accept it as part of the deal, and it's not part of the deal. Well, it is. It shouldn't be. But this is what happens when monopolies take over. This is the beginning of a big battle here, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, the new edition of the DSM-5. I'm the only one talking about it. Beware your psychiatrist. And for goodness sake, if you have a child that's not doing well at school and he's a minor, keep them away from the school psychiatrist. As God is my witness. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is the luckiest day of your life. You've tuned in to Fire Your MD Now. Going to Montana to talk to Elaine when we come back. It just gets crazier and crazier and crazier. The MD methodology is the gift that keeps on giving. And Dr. Wallach and I are the only ones that I'm aware of that are telling you like it is, like this. You'll have people, some pundits go on radio or they'll go on talk shows and they'll say, oh, there's so much corruption in Medicare and in the VA and this, that, and the other thing, and that the insurance companies and the drug companies need to be reined in. Well, all of this is true. The medical system does need to be, more oversight, and there do need to be more penalties, but even if that were all in place, it still does not address the simple, sobering fact. MD-directed medicine does not work for chronic disease. It doesn't matter how perfect you make the system. It doesn't matter how many checks and balances you put in. It doesn't matter how well you regulate or jail people that commit medical crimes. It doesn't matter. Even if that all was in place, MD medicine would still be the only type of medicine that people have access to, and MD medicine doesn't work for chronic disease. You get it? The medical system doesn't need to be upregulated or downregulated or controlled. It needs to be abandoned because it does not work. It doesn't work. We're the only ones saying it, and we're saying it as often and as loudly as we possibly can because people are dying needlessly. Let's go to Montana and see what's up with Elaine. Hey, Elaine. Thanks for calling. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Thank you so much for taking my call. I have my friend Lawrence on the line, and we've been helping Lawrence with some longevity products since August, and he does not eat bad food. He's on good food, bad food. He's trying to do everything right because he's been diagnosed with hepatitis C for quite some time, and he has stage 3 liver cirrhosis, maybe because of the hepatitis C, I'm not sure, but just recently the doctors are telling him that he has Parkinson's, and they do have a liver scan scheduled and a brain scan scheduled. But what's happening right now is his whole body is swelling, and he's kind of at the mercy of these doctors because he has to go to the VA doctor. So we were just hoping that you could maybe give us some help. And he's on the basic Healthy Start Pack for his body weight, selenium, and Cell Shield RTQ. at this point. So I'll let you speak to Lawrence, and we'll see what we can do to help him.
All right. Well, I have a patient who's 25 years, well, he's actually been hepatitis C positive for about 35 years. He's been a patient of mine for 25 years, and he's alive and kicking and doing quite well. Thank you very much. Because the liver is a very easy organ to help. The liver can regenerate liver cells like nobody's business. You can surgically remove over 2/3 of your liver. Just cut it out, and it'll grow back. It'll grow back. It's a fancy schmancy doctor talk for that is pathoneogenesis, hepatopathoneogenesis. Your liver grows new liver cells. It's one of the only it's the only organ that I'm aware of that can do that, and there are biochemical pathways in place in the body that support and promote the generation of new liver cells. And that's never a bad thing to do, whether you have hepatitis or not. So what we do to support the structure and function of the body's ability to have a healthy liver is the anti-aging healthy start pack. The anti-aging healthy start pack and selenium appropriate for body weight. And quite frankly, given the diagnosis here, I would do 4 bottles of selenium a month, regardless of my weight. 4 bottles of selenium a month, that's 12 a day. 4 between breakfast and lunch, 4 between lunch and dinner, and 4 between dinner and bedtime of the selenium. 1 anti-aging healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. The most common cause of swelling in the body is water retention. The most common cause of water retention is weak digestive acid and not enough protein in the blood. So every time you eat, you want 75% at least of the food that's on your plate to be protein. Protein for breakfast, protein for lunch, protein for dinner. You want to be salting your food so that it tastes good. Might not hurt for a couple of weeks to take 1 or 2 digestive enzymes at the beginning of the meal, but salt and calcium, the calcium that's in the healthy start pack that you're taking, will be a big benefit here. You got to put protein into the tank, though. You got to eat more protein and make sure that you're salting your food. Now, to support and promote the central nervous system, which is what we do when we're up against Parkinson's disease, you got to have more cholesterol, and a diet that's very high in antioxidants. Stick around, guys. I'll be back after the break, and we'll finish it up. Hey, everybody. We're back tonight, 8 o'clock Central Time for insiders and their guests only. Another introduction to longevity with yours truly. Invite, and that's how we're going to change the world. Let's go back to Montana now. Elaine, please forgive me. What was your friend's name?
Lawrence.
Lawrence, are you with me? Come in, Lawrence. Are you there?
He was there
Hello?
just a minute ago.
Okay, so, well, you can send him a link to the webinar that I did on multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, and Lou Gehrig's.
Yep.
The basic understanding here, right, is lots and lots of cholesterol, lots and lots of ORAC, in addition to what he's already doing, and that's a really good place for him to start.
Okay, he did ask while you were on break. I don't know how we lost him, but just a minute ago he did ask about how many eggs do you think?
Well, nobody knows. I'll tell you what Dr. Wallach would recommend, 12. Dr. Wallach would recommend 12 eggs a day. But really, it's not the egg that's important. It's cholesterol.
Cholesterol, yes. But that's a good source of cholesterol.
Yeah, and it's inexpensive, and you get a lot of bang from a lot of other things in the egg. So that's why we lean heavily on the egg. And Dr. Wallach would say 12 eggs a day, soft scrambled in butter, soft boiled or poached, right?
Okay.
All right, Elaine, you're the greatest.
I'll pass all that on. I do have a testimony real quick if you have time for one.
Oh, whoa. Yeah, I mean, don't have to be quick with testimonies. I'm sitting down. Take it away.
Well, this is about me. I've been on the longevity products for a couple of years. On longevity, I had degeneration in my disc, and I had arthritis, and I had all kinds of things going on. All of that reversed, low thyroid reversed. Everything's great. But yesterday, I won't go into the long details, but I fell off the back of my pickup truck onto pavement, flat on my hip without any, I didn't catch myself at all. It was like I got slammed to the ground. My boot was ripped off, and I've never had such pain in my back ever in my life. It was the worst fall I've ever taken in my life. And so I didn't know if I was going to be able to walk or what. But long story short, after a little bit of ibuprofen, a trip to a really nice chiropractor that helped me on Sunday at church, a couple x-rays, and she made sure nothing was broken, and so forth and so on. She looked at my back, my x-rays, and I did knock the sacrum just a little bit out, and she put that back in place. But she said that your spine looks really good. And I looked at that, and I'd looked at x-rays before, and I don't have any degeneration in my spine anymore. I'm 63 years old and a great-grandmother, and I think a fall like that would have really hurt a much younger person really bad. And so I guess that was a good bone density test because I did not break anything.
You got to love that. I mean, are you kidding me? If you fell off of a truck, a normal-sized pickup truck, you fell flat onto your hip and nothing broke, and you're in your 60s? Are you kidding me?
Yep.
That doesn't happen. I mean, that does not happen.
Well, it happened, and that's what happened. And this not only is a pickup truck, it's a Dodge diesel in the back. So it's pretty far. It was at least 3 feet fall.
Holy smokes. Yeah, you guys take your truck seriously.
And the other thing is, after my adjustment, and after icing it down, and I use CM cream on my back, I am doing my normal chores today. I'm sore, but I'm walking around normally. I'm not in excruciating pain, nothing. And I don't think that would have been possible without 2 years on longevity products.
I mean, no kidding. I mean, the Lord works in mysterious ways, and this is a point worth dwelling on here for a second, Elaine. See, the problem with osteoporosis rarely, all by itself, is painful. Rarely is osteoporosis painful. Like, oh, you've got a lot of pain, and you go to the doctor, and he says, oh, it's your osteoporosis that's causing the pain. It happens, but it's rare. The reason that the medical community is so up in arms about helping people with osteoporosis, which, by the way, they cannot do. They can't do it. They think they can do it, and they try to do it. But the reason that they're so proactive with osteoporosis is because when you do have osteoporosis and you slip on a banana peel and you fall down and you crack your hip wide open, when you're over 65 years of age, the surgery necessary to repair that is unbelievably debilitating for people who are undernutrified in the first place. Mm-hmm. It's not the osteoporosis that's a problem, it's the fractured hip. And the surgery to it, that's the biggest problem. So, I mean, you, because of longevity, have just dodged an unbelievably large, this isn't even a bullet, this is a Tomahawk missile. It just flew right over your house and missed you completely. I mean, this is gigantic. This is huge. This is huge. I agree, Dr. Glidden. That's why I wanted to share that with you. I just thank God for Dr. Wallach and longevity and all the information. I thank God for your webinars with all the teaching. One question just for the audience. When you have degenerating in your disc and you have painful arthritis in your hip joints and all over the place, you do have osteoporosis at the same time, right? Yeah, most of the time. I mean, it's kind of like it's a mixed bag, but yeah. Okay. The game is afoot, right? Yeah, absolutely. Right. Well, I am very thankful for longevity. I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful that I'm walking around giving this testimony today. I look out, Lillian. The best is yet to come, man. If you can survive a fall like that, you're going to be the next best thing to Superwoman in Montana. Keep up the good work, Elaine. Well, I sure appreciate you, Dr. Glidden, and I have to go milk my cows tonight. And the other thing, I had to come home after that and milk cows and do my chores. Unbelievable. They build them tough in Montana, let me tell you. Yeah, they build them longevity tough now in Montana. Yep. Keep up the good work, Elaine. Listen, I met you at the convention, longevity. I'll see you again soon, whenever you're back in Montana. We just love you out here. I look forward to it. Thank you so very much. You got to love that, folks. I mean, are you kidding me? Where and when does that happen in any other healing modality? It doesn't. Hypothyroid, gone. Degenerative disc disease, gone, as revealed by X-ray. Not only gone, but her bones are strong. Are they super strong? No. They're natural strong, or the way that God intended your bones to be. We're not doing anything extracurricular here. We're just doing the nuts and bolts, fundamental foundation stuff that God intended. Your MD has completely overlooked. And this is why I say, when you apply medical nutrition appropriately, it is only a matter of time until those chickens come home to roost. And when the medical nutrition longevity chickens come home to roost, you are going to feel like $1 million. From Montana to South Carolina, let's check out Dennis and see what's cooking in South Carolina. Hey, Dennis, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, Doc. I'm glad to get to talk with you. Bada bing, bada boom, brother.
Bada bing, bada boom. Welcome aboard, Dennis. What's shaking in South Carolina?
All right, I've got a couple of things, and then I'd like to give you a quick testimony of what longevity's done for me. I have two special ladies in our life. My wife and I have friends of ours. They have, one of them has polycystic ovary syndrome. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
And a vitamin D deficiency. And she had just actually asked me what did she need to take, and I didn't know because I never heard of it. And then also her mother has been diabetic type 1 for a long time. And she's really interested in about diabetes and how to help her mother because, it really has probably put a toll on her body over the years. And
the problem with, how much are they? A little over 100?
I'd say over 150 pounds apiece.
All right. Well, type 1 diabetes, of course, nobody knows how to fix that and get on the other side of it, because with type 1 diabetes, there are cells in your body that secrete insulin that are no longer there. They're gone. I mean, they're gone. They've been destroyed. They've been destroyed for a long time. And the only thing that can potentially grow that stuff back is divine intervention or stem cells. And we're not even close to being anywhere near the stem cell research marker that we need to be. But that's a whole other conversation. But what we can do with type 1 diabetics who are insulin-dependent diabetics who need to inject insulin is we can dramatically decrease the amount of insulin that they need to inject into their body every day in order to manage their blood sugar levels. And that's a really good thing, because the more insulin you need, the worse your health is going to be downstream. Insulin harms you when you need to inject it in large amounts. So anything we can do to cut down on the amount of insulin is a really, really good thing. The recommendation for both of these women, number one, eliminate the 10 bad foods. Unless they can do that, this program is going to have minimal results. They must clean up their diet, number one. Number two, the type 1 diabetic, it's easy to support and promote the structure and function of her body's ability to manage its blood sugars. 1 healthy blood sugar pack and 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 healthy blood sugar pack and 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. That's easy breezy lemon squeezy. For the other woman, polycystic ovarian syndrome, from our point of view, polycystic ovarian syndrome is caused by not enough progesterone. Progesterone, of course, is a female hormone that's necessary for life, and females have it in superabundance, as well as 3 different types of estrogen. Females also have a little bit of testosterone and a whole bunch of other stuff. But all sex hormones, whether you're a man or a woman, are made from cholesterol. So it would be prudent, if you have a progesterone deficiency, which is what we believe drives polycystic ovarian syndrome, is to eat more cholesterol. So in this case, we need to support and promote the structure and function of her hormone levels, of the hormonal system in her body. And we do that with the Healthy Start Pack, the Healthy Start Pack and selenium, 1 Healthy Start Pack and 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of Balance FX per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and 1 bottle of HGH Youth Complex per 100 pounds of body weight per month, plus a diet that's high in cholesterol. So that's 1 HGH Youth Complex, 1 Balance FX, 1 Healthy Start Pack, and 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. It's a really easy program. Eliminate the 10 bad foods and eat a diet that's high in cholesterol. So eggs, right, butter, chicken with the skin, turkey with the skin, full-fat yogurt, full-fat milk, full-fat cheese. Don't worry, fat doesn't make you fat. Oh, and the Balance FX, but I think I already said that. That's how we do it for both. But remember, there's 2 things that we do, right? Number 1, we stop eating food that's coming up the works. I mean, if you continue to put diesel fuel in an unleaded engine, no matter how well that engine is tuned up, it's going to run like crap. So you have to clean up the diet. Stop eating the bad foods. Start eating the good foods. Make sure they're salting their food so that it tastes good. Take the nutritional supplements and commit to a 90-day program. Commit to a 90-day program before you judge it one way or the other. And just make sure the woman with the diabetic issue is measuring her blood sugars every day, because it's only a matter of time until her sugars normalize or get lower, at which time she's going to need to reduce her insulin. So as long as she's on top of that, life is good. Life is good when you're with Youngevity, and life is bad when you're with your MDs. Thanks for the call, Dennis, and thanks for being a stand for the health of people in your state and all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. We're finishing it out with Trent in Alabama when we come back. Stick around. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you know what? I just remembered I let our last caller go before I got his testimonial. Oh, I hate it when I do that. Sorry about that. Call back tomorrow if you can, and we'll take the testimonial. I'll take it first things first. Sorry about that once more. Today is November 16th, 2013. Let's finish it out with Trent in Alabama. Hey, Trent, what's happening down in Bama?
Hi, Doc. I had just found about you, and I believe his name is Dr. Wallach on the Internet.
Yes, sir.
When I was 40 years old, I was diagnosed with a neuromuscular disease called CNT, Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with it.
Right. And I've been to many doctors in my area, and they both are telling me that it's genetic. Nothing can be done for it. My dad had it, and he, ended up in a wheelchair in his mid-50s, and I'm trying to do everything I can to prevent that from happening. But I'm hitting a dead end with the doctors, and I was hoping that you could give me some advice on any supplements I could take, or anything else, any advice that you could give me on this.
Okay, well, that's easy to do. First of all, this is an interesting disease. The MDs think that it's an inherited neurological disorder. It's named for 3 physicians who first identified it: Jean-Martin Charcot and Pierre-Marie in Paris, France, and Howard Henry Tooth. How about that? What a name, right? What a last name, Tooth, right? Where is it affecting you? What part of your body are you feeling it in?
Okay, I really didn't even know I had it till in my late 20s, early 30s. I mean, I played football, done every, I guess you could say a natural thing that a boy that age would do. But as of right now, as the years have went by, I'm progressively getting a little weaker in my fingers and in my lower extremities. The upper part of my body, the thigh area, is still as strong as it ever was. It's just basically the lower calves and my hands. All
right. Well, this is, again, it's an interesting thing to talk about, because just because the MDs say something doesn't make it so.
Right.
What the scientific community does know, and what we all agree on, is that it's caused by mutations in genes.
Right.
Right? There's a mutation in a gene that causes all this trouble. Now, inquiring minds want to know, well, what causes a mutation in the gene?
Right.
The MDs don't give a crap. They don't care. They don't even think about that. All they know is, well, there's a mutation in a gene, and that's life, and, sorry, buddy, you drew the short straw, and you got to go.
Exactly.
Well, other research that Dr. Wallach did when he was working at Yerkes Primate Research Center in Atlanta, Georgia in the 70s clearly shows that cystic fibrosis is caused by a mineral deficiency, which causes a mutation in a gene. And so we are acutely aware of the relationship between minerals and the strength of chromosomes. And every chromosome has something called a metallic finger. A metallic finger, which is a necessary kind of support structure for the gene or for that part of that chromosome. And when the body runs out of certain trace minerals, the genetic material becomes structurally unsound. It's kind of like if you had a ladder, but it was made out of aluminum, but the aluminum was low grade and they hadn't done a good job forging it, and so you step on the rung and then the rung gets weak and it bends and breaks. Well, it's the same thing in your chromosomal material. When your body is lacking trace minerals, you're going to get mutated genes. So from our point of view, what we do is, what would be a prudent thing to do, is give your body the raw materials, especially minerals, that it needs in order to have a strong, healthy body. Stop eating food that's coming up the works and get the heck out of the way. So the recommendation here for you would be 1 healthy brain and heart pack, 1 healthy brain and heart pack, and 2 bottles of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 healthy brain and heart pack and 2 bottles of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month, plus 1 bottle of plant minerals, 1 bottle of plant minerals per 100 pounds of body weight per month for supplements. Then you have to stop eating the 10 bad foods, and then you have to eat a diet that's high in cholesterol. You can get the 10 bad food list at my website, fireyourmdnow.com. Just go there, follow the instructions. It's free. Eliminate the 10 foods, get those nutritional supplements, increase your consumption of cholesterol. If you have any other questions, call me back. I wish I had more time, Trent. I appreciate the trust. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out of time. See you tonight.